What a weekend of football it has been. But of course, we still have the college football national championship to come. Ohio State and Notre Dame. Mark Zinno and I have a best bet coming up for you. Also, have a couple looks in the NBA. Of course, a busy afternoon slate because it is the Martin Luther King holiday. Mark, the hoops we jump through to get this show to the people, unprecedented, quite frankly,
Yeah.
in the history of
And
hooping, quite frankly.
hoops was pun intended because there is a lot of hoops for us to get
There is
to.
a lot, yes.
Number one, sometimes you're a bitch, and I love you for it. But when you get flustered, man, you are a woman. You're an absolute woman. Like your
Look, man,
emotions take over. You become all verklempt, and you can't settle and center yourself. There is no woosah in you. Coming from a guy who doesn't woosah that much, okay?
no, you
There is
don't.
no woosah in you.
No, I'm going to tell you something right now. First of all, I didn't appreciate those words that you had to say at the open. Number
Well,
two, you're the man who is usually more upset of the two of us.
yes,
I would say
yes,
9 out of every 10 shows. Dare I
yes,
say 29 out of every 30? Today, I'm a little
yes,
hot. I'm going to be honest with you,
yes.
okay?
I kind of like it.
Nobody cares about this. Not one person cares about this. I would like to, you know what? I'm going to rant. Okay, I'm going to rant about two
Brian,
things, as a matter of fact.
we're going to call this rant real quick. Brian Power versus technology. Brian Power versus his computer, because that's all
Okay.
this is about.
No, I have another thing I'm going to add too that I
Oh,
just remember that pissed me off over the weekend too. Yes, I'm on my second computer today to try to get this to work. I have no idea what's going on, why I couldn't log into our wonderful system. Dan Alexander, our tremendous producer, has been very patient with me today, and I appreciate that. But we are live, and I'm very fired up about how hard it was for me to do my job here and bring the show to you like I like to do each and every day, Monday through Friday. Smash that like button, by the way, if you enjoy the free content. The other thing, you know what? While I'm ranting about things, Zitto. Okay. It is, I mentioned the Martin Luther King holiday. It is, of course, Inauguration Day here in the United States of America as well. I've been reading Trump, he's promising like 200 executive orders, right? Okay. And this is not an endorsement, a repudiation, or anything of any political candidate. It's not. But if he truly wants to make America great again on the first day in office, you know what he needs to do?
get us a cover?
Well, that would be one. Two,
Because that'd be
okay,
nice.
he
I
needs
haven't
to
done
do
that.
the right thing and insert Greg Olson as the color commentator
Oh,
for the Super
Jesus.
Bowl coming up. I can't listen to Tom Brady for 3 hours. I can't do it. I'm sorry. He stinks. He's got a
You know what else
bad
you can
voice.
do?
And I'm not saying I'm Vin Scully. I'm not saying I'm Al Michaels or whoever your favorite announcer is. But I can't listen to Tom Brady.
Isn't Vin
Between
Scully
Tom
dead?
Brady and technology, I'm very upset.
Okay. Anyway, a better solution would be to make all penalties reviewable in the NFL. That would be a better solution. I'm tired of this crap, man. I'm tired. I'm tired of the game not being put in the coach's hands to be able to figure out if the officials make a mistake, give the head coach the option to fix it. You don't give him any extra challenges. If a coach wants to use a challenge flag on a holding call in the first quarter of a game, have at it, coach. If that's how you want to manage the game, knock yourself out. But the idea that these calls are going on and some of them get replay assists from New York, some of them get expedited review, and some of them don't is BS. It's just annoying. Beyond that, because once again, we found out over the weekend that the Chiefs are the luckiest bleeping franchise in the history of professional football. So they're going to be done though. They're losing next week, so just write it down. Free play.
Wow.
Take Buffalo. Take Buffalo. Okay, they're losing next week. Write it down.
I
Anyway,
I will say I will say, speaking of commentators, and then we will get to the NBA action really quick, guys. But speaking of commentators, when you've lost Joe Buck and you've lost Troy Aikman, dare I say you've lost America because they were
yeah,
like outwardly
they
calling
were
out the
happy.
officiating.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. I'm going to allegedly be on Wager Talk today, tomorrow, if I can, rub two sticks together. But and I'm going to be giving my early thoughts. And one of my early thoughts on Bills Chiefs is all this narrative about Kansas City getting all the calls. I
Mhm.
wonder if the refs maybe keep a flag or two in their back pocket during that game because the narrative is so when Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are just mocking the idea of or just openly not mocking, they're supporting the idea of Kansas City getting all the calls. Something is afoot.
Yeah, it was. I mean, look again. It's just one of those things where, especially when it comes to, when you talk about late hits on slides of quarterbacks or helmet to helmet contact and everything else, just allow the head coach to see if the flag and the rule was adjudicated to the letter of the law, right? Because the penalty on Will Anderson that led to 3 points on the third down when they would have got off the field. The alleged hit to the head of the quarterback where he never touched his head.
Didn't
That's
touch
got
him.
to be able to be. It's got to be able to be reviewed. If the letter of the law is you have to hit him to the head and neck area, and he doesn't hit to the head and the neck area, you cannot throw that flag there, and you cannot allow that flag to stay on the ground. Someone's got to buzz down and go, okay, you guys missed this. I get it. It's really fast, and it looked like he did, and his head snapped back because Patrick Mahomes is an actor now. You ever see those State Farm commercials? Okay, yeah. Then maybe we should do something about that. So, nonetheless, although the officials in the Bills Ravens games let those guys be pretty chippy. There was a couple of plays that, like, if that's week 6 in the regular season, those flags for personal fouls can fly in pretty quick. Like,
Yeah.
they let those guys be chippy all night long. So, all right, let's get to the other stuff here now that we're done whining,
Ranting.
complaining.
Okay. By the way, nice
Uh,
use of the word adjudicated, by the way, Mark Zinno. New York Knicks, Atlanta Hawks, two teams
Yes.
that occupy some spot in your heart or mind or body. I don't know. You live in Atlanta. You're from New York. This is a matchup that should interest you. So no surprise to me that you have selected it for your half of the double play. How should we be betting Hawks Knicks? Hawks not at home, by the way. Very rare for Martin Luther King Day. I assume it
Yes.
has something to do with the College Football National Championship also being in Atlanta.
That might be the case. Also, it might surprise you for me to use the word erudite, which is what I bring to this show. Okay. Do you even know what erudite means?
No, I don't. I think you're just making words up now.
No, it's not. Erudite. Erudite. Go look it up. It means possessing knowledge and bringing intelligence. So there you go. It's an erudite conversation. You ready? Knicks,
Yeah.
Hawks. Here we go. Couple of situational things here that I really like for the New York Knicks. Again, if the Hawks were home, I told BP before the show, like, the Hawks always win at home on MLK Day. I've been here 10 years. I've never seen them lose at home on MLK Day, ever. So, and they usually play some, like, scrub team, like years ago, like when the Magic were bad, they would play them. They kind of set it up like colleges do for their homecoming, like play the worst team in the league. Um, just so we can get a win at home on MLK Day, because it's a very well attended game in Atlanta. Obviously, everybody knows what MLK means to the city of Atlanta in the South. So, anyway, couple of things here. The Hawks and Knicks have played twice already. The Hawks have won both of those games. Trae Young seems to play well in Madison Square Garden and enjoys playing
Hmm.
Square Garden. That said, I'm not comfortable laying the 6.5 here with the Knicks. Probably too big of a number that I want to get. Trae Young is a game time decision, as is Jalen Johnson. So Hawks are still missing a couple of players, including Zachary Shea, their number 1 overall draft pick. So we get the Knicks hopefully playing with a little bit of revenge here, tired of losing to the Hawks. The Knicks have also lost 3 of their last 4 games in front of the MSG crowd. Also bad. They need to turn it around and start playing better at home. The Hawks have won 2 straight games on the road. One over the Bulls, which isn't that surprising, but another one over the Boston Celtics in overtime. We get set up for a little letdown spot here. So let's look to the Knicks team total. Over 120.5, because guess what? I still don't think the Hawks are very good on defense. They have the ability to be susceptible to giving up a ton of points. I know their defense is better than it was last year, and you talk about their metrics and where they are, middle of the road this year in defensive efficiency, but still, despite the fact that the Knicks are playing a slow pace, I think we get over this number here, as this total is starting to be bet up already. So let's go Knicks over 120.5 here against the Hawks today on MLK at MSG.
Two of the worst teams when it comes to defending the 3, as a matter of fact. Perhaps that, the
Yes.
3 ball, is how the Knicks get up and over this team total. Smash that like button if you're rolling with Zinno there. My half of the double play. I'm going to take a look at the first game of the TNT doubleheader, 2:40 Eastern. T-Wolves and the Grizzlies. Mark, initially, I thought this line opened up too low. And guess what? Apparently, everyone else in the United States of America and the world thought this line opened up too low, because Memphis has gone from a 3.5 to what? I think I saw a 6 pop before we started on the show. Everyone's betting the Grizzlies like this game is already over, so I don't want to lay that number. Let's attack things in a different way. Desmond Bane. This is a player who has stepped up big time for the Grizzlies when Ja Morant has been missing time. Morant is questionable for this afternoon. There's a lot of, by the way, in the comment section, they're going to bring this up. So, what are you guys doing giving out NBA plays before the injury report's been finalized? Make sure you're checking these injury reports today, because there's a lot of key players that are listed as questionable. this afternoon. Morant is one of them for Memphis. So you know what? Whether or not Morant plays, I'm targeting Desmond Bane. Look at what he did in the last game, Zinno. He had 14 assists as the Grizzlies destroyed the Spurs. They hung 140 on San Antonio in a beatdown. Oh, by the way, Bane also had 22 points in that game. He has now gone over 20, or scored 20 or more, I should say, 8 of his last 9 games. Prop was at 18.5. Seems easy to me. Let's take Desmond Bane over his point total against the Minnesota T-Wolves this afternoon. Again, this game is on TNT. Thoughts there?
That's a very, very solid breakdown. I'm proud of you.
Oh, I always like when you say that. Okay, good.
Just
good.
I think you've done well for yourself this year.
Okay, thank you. Can I promote now or no?
No, because promoting is stupid.
No?
But go ahead. I know you have a fiduciary responsibility to do this annoying thing and tell everybody what we have going on. Go ahead.
You know what? That'll come up a little bit later on when I promote myself. So a little tease there. I'm going to tease promotion just to really upset you. Is there anything you would like to say about yourself? Because now, folks, you have sat through us yelling about technology, yelling about Tom Brady, yelling about officials. We've talked some NBA. It is time for the national championship game. There's only 2 teams left. They are both very popular teams, Notre Dame and Ohio State. You know who beat Ohio State this year, by the way?
Oh, shut up. Guess who's going to the game tonight? Guess who's going to the game
You're better than me.
What else comes up who's going to the game tonight? This guy.
They don't play national championship games in Cleveland.
There's a reason for that.
Never had a national. It's cold. It's 8 degrees. It is 8 degrees today.
17 degrees here today.
That's actually, people would expect 8 in Cleveland, but yeah, 17 in Atlanta seems cold. All right, but it will be hot inside the building as Ohio State takes on Notre Dame for the national championship. Mark Zinno, I think you and I are in agreement. Let's just, before we get to the best bet, let's just say a few other things just to, set the tone here.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of people talking about teasing Ohio State. Now, the imaginary they, say you're not supposed to tease college football.
You know what? They could bite me.
Yeah, I know, and it's their money. That being said, I agree that in this particular instance, it is tempting to tease Ohio State down, right? I'll be honest with you. Hold on. I am off market on this game. The spread looks high, but I think it's like UConn in the NCAA tournament. I believe I've made this point before on the program, where I feel that I just can't adjust enough to properly reflect how well Ohio State is playing right now. So I don't want to play the spread because, again, what my number says, I don't trust what my number says. I love my numbers, but in this case, I'm a little skeptical, okay? But I have an argument not to tease this game, another one. Okay. To me, I think either Ohio State wins this game by a lot or Notre Dame wins it outright. Your thoughts on that comment right there?
I mean, again, I think those are the 2 most likely game scripts, right? Where Ohio State comes out guns a-blazing, and they just the floodgates open from the very first snap and they never look back, or they find themselves in a sort of, literal back and forth, low scoring slop, grinded out meat grinder fest, and Notre Dame wins on a field goal. Like that's, I think those are the 2. Because look, if styles make fights here, these are 2 vastly different styles of teams, particularly offensively. They're both very good defensively, but if somehow the sort of, slow, grinded out pace develops, that heavily favors Notre Dame, which is kind of where we're going here with our show best bet. Because the way I look at this, and I've said this repeatedly, with deference to Notre Dame's defense and how well they've played, they have not seen a receiving core of this caliber in any of their 3 playoff games. Indiana had a very statistically good offense this year. They do not have the horses in the barn that Ohio State has. Georgia has no receiving core to speak of, and their offense was decimated, and they had a backup quarterback. And Penn State's best receiving target was their tight end. The speed that Ohio State has on the outside is the biggest problem that Notre Dame has to contend with. And unless they can get to Will Howard early and often, but trying to cover Smith and Egbuka is nearly impossible. And those two should be running wild through the Notre Dame secondary. And if they don't get to Howard, guess what? He's going over this number. The other part of this is that from a game script standpoint, even if he's only at like 180, 200 into the fourth quarter, guess what? If the game is tight, they're going to have to throw to score. If Notre Dame is trailing, they're going to have to throw to score. So I think there are more outs in this thing. Howard has gone over this number in each of the 3 playoff games that he's played: 311 against Tennessee, 319 against Oregon, and 289 against Texas. I don't see any reason why those two of those defenses in Texas and Tennessee are very comparable to Oregon's. I mean, to Notre Dame's rather. So I don't see any reason why he shouldn't go over this number. If he's not going over this number, I think the scenario is where it's that grinded out, slow, back and forth, ugly game, and Ohio State's in danger of losing. I think Ohio State wins. I think they cover. And you know what? Morning Wager audience, you know what I feel about people who tell you what to do with your money? Bite me. I teased Ohio State. So I'm okay with it.
Okay. Well, there you go. I don't think either team is going to have much success running the football in this game, Mark Zinno. You mentioned very astutely, I may add, that Notre Dame has not faced a receiving group like this in the playoff. I'll extend that to all season because Ohio State has the best receiving room in the country. We understand that. And I will point this out. The 2 times that the Notre Dame defense faced receiving rooms with a pulse, Louisville and USC, we saw receivers have big days. I mean, you talk about, it is a total 180. When they beat Penn State in the college football playoff semifinal, the entire Penn State receiving room combined for zero receptions. They do not have a good receiving room. Drew Aller, wait for it, stunk in that game. Will Howard will not stink in this game. And Ohio State, yes, has the best receivers in the country. If Ohio State's path to the national championship goes through the air in this one. So Will Howard over his passing yards is your show best bet. Comment down below with your thoughts on that selection. You could tell us how great it is. If you don't like it, really keep your comment to yourself. Or feel free to tell us why you don't like it.
If you don't have anything nice to say in the comment section, don't say anything at all. But just remember, if you can dish it out, you better be able to take it, because we can take it, but we love to dish it out.
I'm not that great at taking it. I'm very
sensitive. I know you're not. By the way, just to keep up with being the honest broker of truth, I stunk over the weekend, everybody. I apologize. I'm not going to go into a long rant about how bad I was. It just wasn't good. They go at like 2-4 this weekend. For the guy worried about my record, it's on my page, you douche.
I think you're a good man still, as you know. You've turned my frown upside down this morning. I was not in a good mood when the show started, but I'm in a better mood now. Also, I'm in a good mood because I went 6-2 over the weekend. It's now a 34-18-1 all sports run at WagerTalk.com. It was all led, of course, Mark Zinno.
More soccer plays right for you.
Yes, and Mark, you called me on Saturday and said, "What is your 5% play, BP?" I said, "Mark, my 5% play is West Virginia plus the points. I think they've got a good shot at shocking the world as they honor the late Jerry West against Iowa State." Guess what they did? They shocked the world. They beat Iowa State outright. You talk about a grinded out type game. Woo! Iowa State could not hit water from a boat in that game, and that was good for us. We win the big 5% play on West Virginia on Saturday. 3-1 in the NFL. Every single play was decided on the final drive, so I was rolling around on the floor a lot Saturday and Sunday. I've got a 4% best bet on tonight's game. It is a player prop. Last year in the championship game, Mark, I believe you and I were both on Michigan against Washington. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I was on Michigan against Washington. 2 years ago, I had a nice player prop. Brock Bowers, now starring for the Las Vegas Raiders.
He's pretty good.
I had him over 61.5 yards receiving against TCU. I think he hit that like 8 minutes into the game or something like that. It was very easy. So head on over to my page to pick up tonight's best bet. That is all I got for you and the people today.
Beautiful. Well, everybody have a wonderful Martin Luther King Day. Happy Inauguration Day. And let's go cash some tickets, please, because I've had enough of this. No, not in the middle of your forehead.
Oh, no, it's up here. Oh, up here. Okay, I'm learning.
On your eyebrow.
Oh, eyebrow?
There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I can salute. I'm a military man now. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. And until next time, indeed, let's cash some tickets.